2023 is shaping up to be a bumpy year for hot hatch lovers because not only will we have the arrival of Toyota's GR Corolla, from February, Honda will introduce this, the new Civic Type R. Let's check it out. So 2023 is a big year for Honda because not only does it mark 30 years since the NSX-R was first introduced, it also is the 25th birthday since the very original Civic Type R was first, brought to market. So you think they're going to do something special, and they certainly have with the FL5. Now, it's very interesting today that Honda has brought along 5 out of the 6 generations of Civic Type R because you can really see the transition from the FK8 to the FL5. You can see how it's matured because there's a lot less Tokyo drift about this car. And in fact, it shares a lot with the previous generation, including its heavily updated architecture. But this car's also grown in size as well as maturity. It's now around 37 millimeters longer and around 15 millimeters wider. Now, Honda designers and engineers have thrown a huge amount of engineering cash to make this Type R, as good as it can be. And that includes specific body changes. So if you look at the car here, we have these really cool wider arches that don't really come across on camera, but trust me, beside the regular Civic, you notice them. There's also a different bonnet with extra vents, and there's also a new front bumper. Now, this bumper is crucial because it has a wider radiator here for up to 50% more cooling. It also gets these ultra cool brake ducts. We'll talk about that more later. Now, if you come down the car, we get, look, these vented wheel arches. And unlike the FK8, all of this is functional. There's no fake vents to annoy the purists out there. So we go down the car, we've got the sill extenders. I think this is quite cool. These doors here, well, they're all new because they're wider, so there's no sort of stuck on ugly bits of plastic. Wider rear arches, and then at the back of the car, you see designers still have a bit of a sense of humour. They still have this huge rear wing that isn't removable. We've got this redesigned rear bumper and a massive rear diffuser and these quite ridiculous 3 exhaust pipes. So under the bonnet is a development of the FK8's K20C1 2-litre turbocharged 4-cylinder. Now, they've upped power by around 7 kilowatts and 20 newton meters of torque, and they've done that by changes to the intake, a straighter exhaust, and a modified turbo that's supposed to have less inertia and is basically quicker to react. So the result is a car that produces 235 kilowatts and 420 newton meters of torque. Now, performance-wise, this car is quicker than the outgoing model. It takes around 5.4 seconds for the 0 to 100 kilometer sprint. So that's about 3/10 quicker, and top speed is 275 kilometers per hour. Now, interestingly, for the latest generation Civic Type R, we have a smaller rim. They've actually downsized the old Cars 20s to 19s, but the tyre is much wider. It goes up from 245 to 265. It also sports the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tyres with the option of the Cup 2 tyres for those people who track. Now, the brakes are carryover from the previous generation, but have been basically upgraded like every other part of the chassis. I mean, Honda really has taken the opportunity to sort of evolve things. So this has the development of the old car's multi-link suspension. There's struts up front, dual axis struts that's supposed to help. And basically the car is, it's really been honed and evolved to make it, faster and more livable, both on road and track. And when we talk about livable, you might start to get worried because it sounds like Honda might have gone soft. So inside the FL5, Honda has, given us a real treat because, firstly, the red carpets are back. Hurrah, they look ridiculous and they're hilarious and I love them. And then there's the sports seats, so actually a modified version of the old cars, but in this red Alcantara, it just mimics the original Integra Type R, which I love. They're also really comfortable and said to be around 7% lighter. Now, other changes for this car is there's a bespoke instrument panel setting for the Type R that sort of gives it an F1 style binnacle. And there's also I think it's called a log R screen for the infotainment system that basically tells you how terrible you are on track and gives you all this analysis that probably makes you a little bit quicker if you're lucky. But perhaps pride of place in the Civic Type R's cabin is this thing here, a manual gearbox with an even better shift. And the best thing is, that's it. It's only available with a 6-speed manual. An automatic 2-pedal version will not ever be available. Honda Australia says the new Civic Type R should be available from Honda dealers from around February 2023. But when it arrives, it will cost $72,600. Now that is a huge $13,000 bump over the outgoing car. And you know what? That could prove a bit of a hurdle for some buyers, because chief rivals like the Hyundai i30N, well, they kick off from less than $50,000. And even more premium rivals like the Volkswagen Golf R, well, that costs around $66,000. But you know what? This car kind of spans the gap between both of those cars and, well, gives you best of both worlds. But you know what? If you want one, you better get cracking, because Honda says it's already got 4,000 pre-orders.